Oh boy, here we go. Let's go. First thing Monday morning, I'm in the principal's office with Ben, my side, to clear up the issue. Why does he have to be at your side? Can't he just be there with Ben? This is my first time meeting Principal Scala. Why are you calling her they? Like, if you've already met her, you know that she goes by she, her, man. Why are you being so weird and gagey about it? She's a tan-scaled and Why is there an and here? Just go tan-scaled, comma, brunette. She's a tan-scaled brunette saurian. She's very brown, is the point. Looking perpetually exhausted and nursing a cup of coffee the whole time. Of course, right now her dilated pupils and clear distress rage against her lethargy. I would probably choose another word, because distress rage, it's one of those maze sentences. Ben got really serious when I first told him, and made sure to confirm that I hadn't submitted someone else's work when we met this morning. He gave me an uber serious... Yes, he already mentioned he was super serious. He had this, super serious look, giving me the Kubik stare. Why don't you pick one of these and leave it at that? He gave me the Kubik stare, even. But after my earnest assurance, he became my zealous advocate. It's kind of funny because, this isn't even me yet. He doesn't know what's going on. I'm ancillary to the meeting. Jesus. Big words. Also, aren't you ancillary to instead of ancillary in? Providing necessary support to primary activities at operation. Yeah, you are ancillary to, right? Because you are providing support. Because... I guess you can provide support in a meeting, but that just sounds weird to me. With Ben making small talk about how the site's overall quality could really with an overhaul once the audit is passed. Scala, for her part, is pacing the width of her office, which isn't that wide, I got the impression, mumbling about what a closely averted disaster that was. The idea of her pacing the office at all just baffles me with how small that office is. I always got the impression it was very thin. Ben is sure to attribute the whole situation to nothing more than a particularly aggressive site error. Let's call it a website at this point. And is certain to praise my vigilance in catching it. Capping off the issue. Principal Scalar agrees manically that she's already calmed down from Ben's soothing rationalizations. This is a really weird sentence. Principal Scalar agrees manically, though has already calmed down with Ben's... You're using very odd structures here. I'm about to take my leave. What are you, a soldier man? I know what he means, but... He becomes a soldier in the other one. When Scala shows a handful of paper into my hands and hurriedly... It's not a handful of paper. She offers like a handful of slips of paper, if anything. Don't mention this to anyone, especially not the auditor, before evicting me. Poor Ben is still with undoubtedly having to deal with the remaining fallout. But Scala doesn't do much, does she? She really doesn't have a lot to contribute in the grand scheme of things. Checking my hand, I found a wad of coupons for a number of things, including a local greasy pizza dive. It's bribery. What a weird-ass situation. With the heat off of me, though, I found myself hoping that anonymous... I get what he's trying to say. I found myself hoping that anonymous artist, as in that's... But man... But I think you should have another that in there. Or that the anonymous artist, so it gets recognition they deserve. Because that's a really awkward structure to use at this point. Well, back to the grind, another day out of the drag. I don't mention the mix-up to Damien. If anything, I doubt he'd care very much. I can always tell the gang at lunch. He fucks me 6 ways to Sunday. It's been a month, man. Man up. And then go back to the same route as we have to do the road climb. I have some monkey genes as getting up. What most quakingly exhausting is a breeze. I ring the bell with an outstretched slap. It's getting down that fills my brain with monkey fear. Practically pass out looking down at everyone. In a way, it's lucky because the lapse of consciousness results in me waking up on solid ground with only friction burrs flaying my palms. Actually, fuck! Like I beat off a razor-wire dildo. I'm excused for the second time this year by Coach Hall to go see the school nurse, though it makes it clear if he had his way, I would only be permitted to rub dirt in it as a makeshift compress. Man, we know... Ooh, ow. We know the ouch. I'd like to think that... I like to think the cheers as I leave are respect. But then they're not cheers. But it's mostly howling laughters at how literally thin human skin is. Kind of? Someone begins taking Ben Hobby internet. Yeah, next. I shoot a judgmental glare at Damien, who loudly shouts $20 on a dog attack. And then I begin about the odds of that action. Also, no. Like, no, you don't put a period after something that closes like this. This is implicitly the closing of the sentence, I think. Right? Like, if you want to continue after this, you put a comma there. But otherwise, you don't put... This is not how you do that, I think. I'm pretty sure. I can't imagine it would work any other way. I think about the odds on that action. And wonder if it'd be worth it to taking a dive for a cut. Because I really... I remember that, like, you should never put periods after quotation marks. Because you put the period in the quotation mark because that's not how the structuring works or something. I don't know. It's one of those things that's been bothering me because I can't get a good answer. The nurse can't do much more than douse my wounds in a stinging disinfectant and wrap them up in a layer of gauze, giving me pitying frown the whole time. She has to take a call after that, giving me permission to leave when I'm ready to go, before switching to a lovey-dovey voice and walking down the hall. Screw it. I forgot to turn on looping again. Screw it. I waste the rest of the period, giving me just enough time to get back to change. Giving myself just enough time to get back to change, and then on to art. You mean AP art design, my man. The first highlight of the day. Debatably the only high point. Oh wait, what? Please use some stress there. Debatably the high point, with only photography coming in second place. Not the Yatakan's impassioned teaching style. It's because the Yatakan makes the time fly. I flop myself down next to Olivia, throwing my head back to the side. That's what she does. I feel her gaze upon me, and a light tap of her tail catches my attention. She gives a small grunt and nods at my upturned, bandaged hands placed on the desk. You don't want to know. I just dodged the embarrassment. Too bad I face-planted into more. She smirks and giggles to herself, undoubtedly running wild as to why both palms would have friction burns. I scramble out my repose. Your repose? Is that even an appropriate use of the term repose? A state of sleep, rest, or tranquility, or to be situated in a particular place, to lay head on, to lie down and rest, to give rest to place something, especially one's confidence or trust in. We've never betrayed your trust that you have reposed in us. Yeah, I don't think repose is appropriate. I think you're thinking the reply there, buddy. Or response. Maybe response is what it's going for. It got auto-corrected. Clarifying, not that! Which only causes it to cackle more. Ah, fine. I conjure up a better tale for my battle scarred. A slapbox of stegothagamizer on my comm. You should have seen how he looks. A squinty-eyed grin as she forces her joke in between the chortles would be priceless in any situation less mortifying. I sure you weren't busy slapboxing your peanuts? Okay, throw both hands up to beg for clemency. My fireman slid my way down a rope that was probably spun from Marie Antoinette pubes. Why Marie Antoinette's? Isn't she the radioactivity guy? Lady? Person? The lady deserves a historical plaque. Surprised it didn't snap on me. Is that so hard? She rasped out, sticking her tongue out. Does she ever do that? I dare say it was a legendary burden to admit that. I cheekily begin leaning in, trying to spy her latest masterpiece. So what did the ancient Greek legends get for their trials? I'll settle for nominally less than demi-godhood. Nominally less. Ugh. A forceful tail whip makes me shrink back and feign a lethal injury. Silently screaming to the skies I was gutted. She scoffs and rolls her eyes. I'm impressed you managed to get this done under Yatakan's vision. The bell rings before I can finish giving the miming Oscar performance of the miming Oscar. Why don't you just mime an Oscar performance, man? Mr. Yatakan is right into it in the morning. You've done all that before class started? How fast are you? After class, where you got fucked up. Damn. Though eschewing is a normal theatrical lecture on a chapter of the book, he instead introduces us to a minor project focused on the basics of art. He places a white ball onto a pedestal and angles a camera lamp at an angle above it. We're to try and best capture the shadows on the ball in any medium we prefer, though he gestures to a box of nearby charcoal sticks. Returning to his desk, he dons a sleeping mask and leans back with a yawn. Must be the teacher equivalent to the science teacher putting on Bill Nye. Must be the art teacher equivalent to a science teacher. You should just say it's the art equivalent to a science teacher putting on Bill Nye. Because, I don't know, you're repeating the same word when you try to avoid that. It makes sentences look clumsy and unrefined. Though I doubt he had a kind of hungover. He's just he's tired. He's full of drugs that are trying to kill his body and also kill something else that's inside of him, killing him. It's a real battle of the ages. I stand up and begin making my way to the charcoal when I hear Olivia grunt. But now I've gotten a sense of her intonations, so I turn back to her when it's clear that she wants my attention. What's up? Get me some. Really? You're not going to walk over there by yourself? I tentatively joked on eggshells about it here and there, but I'm sure you're too exaggerated across my arms, raise an eyebrow to make clear it's a joke. Her eyes narrow to coin slots, and for a second, I'm sure I've ruined it. Like, come on, man, get the thesaurus out of your ass. And she silently mumbles, "That's low." Her yellow silver eyes open wide and pupils begin glistening as she begs silently. You think that will work? Seriously, I'm not buying it. Her eyes seem twice as big, and their glistening turns to positively shimmering as tears threaten to spew from those unblinking orbs. This is crocodile tears, man. That's what crocodiles do. Okay, jeez, don't commit too hard to the bit or your eyes will fall out. I grab a few sticks to share between us. Olivia snickers at her victory before pulling out. You don't really need to say "I say" before grabbing them. Just get to the action. I don't know. Having a weird stumble over this. Olivia snickers at her victory before pulling out a canteen and splash her eyes slightly and drink deep. She throws that in her face? What is up with your face? I sit down and hold out several charcoal sticks. You don't need that many, man. When Olivia goes to them, I hold them just out of her grasp. You have to show me how to do this, though. She groans, sinking to a chair. It's a circle! Do, like, dark stuff. Not good enough. You won the first battle, but I'm betting your eyes can't handle that again. I don't know if throwing your drinking water in your eyes is a good idea, considering you probably don't clean that fucking canteen out. That canteen is a pain to wash. I mean, that's what the invisible eyelids are for, if anything. As if to defy my words, her eyes pop open once again as she stares at me. When they refuse to water and undoubtedly burn, she wipes her eyelids and goes, Okay, fine. She sets about explaining how to draw, much more detailed than I expected for such a reluctant teacher. She details how to get a good round shape, then shows how to flick the charcoal and dab and smear it with a tissue. Thinking I know better, I use my fingers and come to sorely regret it as my fingers turn blacker than sin. Yeah, man, that's charcoal. Still, her pointers during the short lesson turn what would have been an absolute shit piece into a passable one. Pales in comparison to hers and takes you twice as long to mimic, but I thank her for the help, as we said about her individual projects. A bit of silence, only the scratching of our implements is filling the air. So I speak up. Something weird happened. It's about that cost. Honestly, listen, I'm okay with Monkey Anon driving this one, because this can be... I would love it if... You need to write it out, man! This is perfectly fine, but mention that Anon feels it's awkwardly quiet, and you're good to go, because Anon mutters, and he stumbles, and he says a lot of weird shit. Just mention it's awkward, and he's talking because he's feeling awkward, and he wants to fill the silence, or that he wants to get his off his chest. Start off with that, and I'm like, okay, cool. Why are you skipping? You're so close! You missed the manual, your combo's broken. Her chair squeaks as if something had given her a start, and when I look at her hand, it's arrested in its movement. It's such a weird place to use it, man. Oh, yeah? Yeah! Turn my attention back to my page. I like how you take some time just to notice her hand movements. Can we just for once have a character not see something and describe things through sounds? Like, mention that the scratching on her side has stopped, you know? Fucking have a sense that these people don't have fucking telescopic eyes and ears all over the place? Damn! Yeah. Turn my attention back to my page. Some glitch happened. Because, again, if Anon is trying to fill the air because he's awkward about it, then he would lean back and he would talk about it. You can mention that. He's kind of distancing himself from the work. You're creating an emotional setting. If he's awkwardly filling the silence, but he's still working, he's just like... Or he's trying to, just tell Olivia while he's at working. It's like an idle offhand mention. He should be focused on his fucking paper. Include... it's like these people want to write acting, but they don't know what acting is like. Some glitch happened and someone else's pieces got published under my name. Sucks, because they gave it the number one in votes when I got it. It was too late to submit anything, even if that hadn't happened, though. Were you, though? Wasn't it implied that you weren't? I guessed after midnight, but I got the implication that they were already done or something. I don't even know. Or did they already vote? Because they stopped after midnight, right? So who voted? When did this happen? I guess a few weeks ago, but what? The timeline's fuzzy, is what I'm trying to say. Unnecessarily so. They could have just not included the deadline. It would have been fine. Olivia mumbles something and a hum inquisitively. She's not working, still not working on her piece. Again. That's great. Sorry to hear that. Oh, it's not your fault. I was the idiot who didn't bother until the last minute. And I remember excitedly pulling out my phone. Oh yeah, I didn't show you what I was going to post. I clammed my mouth shut to avoid tooting my own horn and forcing a reaction. I pull up The Stranger in Between Worlds, working title, and look expectantly at her. I love it when characters use their person view and they use stuff like this because it's so sassy to do it. I love it. It adds so much character in such a small amount of space. Especially if you include, like, it's a working title, you know, like he's talking to someone. She's avoiding my eyes, absent-mindedly tapping a charcoal against already drawn lines. Her eyes slowly tear away to grace my phone screen. Oh, that's cool. She looks back at a page, still not making progress. She looks back, but doesn't do anything. My heart sinks a little, and I sheepishly place it away. That kind of hurts. Like a lot? I'm a big boy, and Livia's just a woman of few words. Yeah, that's what it is. I finish by peace and silence and go to turn it in. Somehow, I beat Olivia. It would take twice the time. Who, despite her rampant perfectionism, still isn't anywhere near done, having gone over the shading ad nauseum. I don't know if there's so much you can do with fucking charcoal, man. That shit is smudgy. Like, your fingers are just... Like, half the point of charcoal, right, is you put down a layer and you use your fingies and brushes and stuff. It's kind of like a weird reverse paint. Is a great way to use it. You know, like the smudge tool is specifically you rubbing your finger on something. And with charcoal, it's pretty easy to do because I think it tracks relatively well. Because charcoal is carbon and your skin is fatty, and so they should stick because of how water sticks to, you know, hydrophilic materials. I don't know. I've never used charcoal. I just vaguely recall things. And I might be wrong. I feel like a coward. I don't know if I want to press her about it. I don't know if I just don't want to press her about it or if I'm still butthurt. Maybe a bit of both. Class ends with that chafing silence so alien between us, and I mumble a farewell. I'll see her at lunch. Her eyes are still downcast, and I somehow leave class ahead of her for once. The rest of my day... Okay, I think... Where are we? We're getting... Good headway. Good headway. Dang. The rest of my day preceding lunch flows lazily with Olivia at the back. Why do I feel like lazily has come up a bit? I think it's just me. I think I'm just being a little pedantic bitch, and I'm thinking about other things. The rest of my day preceding lunch flows lazily, with Olivia at the back of my mind the whole time. Anytime she retrogrades back to quiet and ambivalent girl I first met, it feels like a failure on my part. Like I chose the wrong dialogue or choice in a video game. Well, you're not even in one now, Anon, so you don't have that excuse. Except I've got the shitty Fallout 4 wheel, where it's all the same shit, flavored differently. I'm gonna be sarcastic about it. Let's put on the other school theme. These always get me fucking claimed, though. But I'm not putting up ads. Ah, my neck. By the time lunch rolls around, the feelings of anxiety plaguing me all day are dispelled by a tired smile at my arrival. Seems she snapped out of whatever it was. Guess ignorance was the right choice after all. I found myself slipping into a flow of cracking jokes, and they land more often than not. Which skill are you training on? Your art skills, your photography skills, your intersocial skills, your comedy skills? Which ones? Pick one. You're gaining too much XP. Liz is nearby too, but she's far too focused on a meal in the rafters, so she's not really nearby, I'd say. If her head is over there and she can't hear shit. So then I looked at this guy and said, Guatemala, I thought you said watermelon. So needless to say, I flunked out of the culture day assignment and dragged him with me. Gardening club was impressed though. Olivia throws up a hand to her nose. Why her nose instead of her mouth? You cover your mouth when you snicker. A gaggle of snort. Oh, because she's snorting. Flying out as she fails to stifle them. Well, the laugh is endearing enough, but a botched attempt to stop it sends me to a laughing fit on par with hers until we're both two laughing idiots in a room where most people are brawling. And that's called shell shock. How are you so hopeless in every situation? Again, I wonder if it is just... I'll check it out in a bit, and we'll see. Made you laugh, didn't it? You can't call me a loser for that. I'm gonna humor you. It practically counts as charity. I'm doing it to humor you. It practically counts as charity. If I paid taxes, I'd be able to claim it. Funny. They give me a stipend for hanging out with you. She narrows her eyes, but breaks into a chuckle immediately. Jerk. It takes one to know one. Alright then. I want to hear a joke from you. A Triceratops, a T-Rex, and a Rhino-Rex find a lamp. Olivia's mouth clamps shut, and her eyes widen. What's the bit in the tongue again? Just when I'm about to pull out the old gator got your tongue, I hear a Ben rock up from behind me. Perfect. I was looking for you two. Ben's arrival reverts Olivia back to her wallflower persona, and she picks at her food with downcast eyes. Why is that? Any news in the art contest? When I ask, I feel the slightest disturbance from Olivia. A minute shift. Actually, considering what happened, right? Considering what happened, I guess the Attica can stick to the same plan. A minute shift that I wouldn't have known. Minute. Why are they the same fucking word? A minute shift that I wouldn't have noticed if my hand wasn't planted on the table. She rests her elbow on. Looking back at her, she hasn't moved from her catatonia. A disturbance in the force. Ben pinches at the bridge of his nose. No, I'm afraid not. Principal Scale is trying to find the artist to give them to credit, but she's not being careful with the scrutiny we're under. But that's nothing to worry about, Anon. You did the right thing, and that's where it ends for you. I almost feel the atmosphere darken around Olivia as she speaks. Why? What's happening? Tell me what's happening! I guess they do have a pretty heavy history. It's a shame you weren't able to upload that photo that you took. Even anonymous praise inspires you to keep growing. Get it, anonymous? But know that it's amazing how quickly you've taken to the camera. Have you seen his would-be submission, Olivia? His words come out strained when addressing her, and she flinches at the syllables of her name. Some weird way to say that. Why not just a mention of her name? She timidly nods, content to return to a mystery meat vigil. Actually, Olivia, it's good you're here. I was reminded by one of our peers to remind you to clean up after yourself. Leaving messes in classes can disturb other students. Someone had to clean that baking soda out of the carpet while I was busy this morning with Principal Scalar. Olivia turns her head and scoffs under her breath. It seems I'm torn between two worlds here. Sure, Ben is cool and has a point, but Olivia? No, she's kind of in the wrong and has nothing to say. I don't know, man. It's kind of a rude move, Liv. Look, this has become a pattern of disregard for others' time. I came to bring it to your attention rather than let the person that had to clean up the mess give you a piece of their mind. Ben's anger peaks, and while mild for him, his tone is harsh, and the frustration is plainly furrowed. The frustration furrows his brow. I was confused there for a minute. Can you at least try not to make other people's lives hard? What the hell, Ben? Why are you doing this? You just said she's in the wrong! My fist collides at the table, and the admonishment is far louder than I intended. This isn't Anon. This works for Inko because Inko is a big soft putty boy, and he's like, oh man, Olivia's my friend, I guess Anon would do this, but I can only see him do it for Damien. Because, like, Damien's the cool guy, you know? And it's like Damien does nothing wrong, but you've seen Olivia do stuff wrong, Anon. And you're not a big soft Labrador, so... He looks back at me in shock, guilt already eating him, and then apologizes without a hint of emotion in his voice. I didn't mean that. I went too far, sorry. Olivia tries to shoot me in a different gaze, which shifts into embarrassment when the harsh one I return shows that I'm on neither of the sides fully. And why the whole fist thing? Why not just... You can just stick to the what the hell Ben and get the point across. Because again, they're soft pudding boys. To backtrack, I meant that I expected far better from you, Olivia. Christ, I don't want to get in between these two and their drama ever. I'll wedge myself into a proxy war, no doubt. This is hardly about a little cleanup. Or if it truly is, it's spurred on by some personal grudge. What's better anyways? I asked. But to what end? I did. Just as lost. You know, the bare minimum. A thought for others. This has eaten up my lunch period too, you know. Well, maybe that is a bare fucking minimum then. Wow! Well, fuck, that was not phrased right. Fuck, how could I phrase that right? Damn right! I'm getting impatient with ending this. Look at Olivia now. There's a pang from unintentional dig. A pang? You can have a pang on its own? Maybe there is nuance to this word I didn't know. A sudden and sharp pain. Now that I didn't know! I didn't know it existed like that. I mostly learned as pang of hunger, but it means something on its own terms. Sometimes it expects more, so it's hardly an excuse. I'm not paying attention to Ben, though, and neither is Olivia. She just has that pained, sullen look, staring at me a silent beat before she wheels away without a word. I thought that hateful gaze of hers was the worst I could experience, Yet I stand corrected. Place my head in my hands, cursing. Fuck. Man. I don't see Ben, but there's shame in his intonation. I say thanks, Ben, but that was a joint effort at best. Before I can inquire, I iterate. And the worst, I fucked up that way. And at the worst, I fucked that in a way that shouldn't have been possible. Language, please, Anon. You're adults, Ben. Jesus. And I'd like to think that this is the best case, even if they replicate me. I just hope that your friendship with her recently. I look up at him, but he has the same reluctance as before. Perhaps I did push a bit hard. It was still better than the alternative. I'm not the worst person to have brought this up, if you believe it. Yeah. I put a hand on his shoulder. Since when are you the touchy guy, you spurg? I do, Ben. I, of all people, understand how overtures can really ruin a good thing. Yep. I'm still cringing over it. I hope that Olivia understands how rude it is to shunt off responsibility like that. I think to myself to volunteer for future messes, but that offer doesn't even get past my lips. Sorry, Ben, I'm not as good as a guy as you. I like that a bit more. Like, Anon pretends that he wants to, but he never would. Anyway, sorry for my part and all that. He shakes his head with a small smile. Why does he use a small smile for that? Can't he use his neck muscles? You are too kind. We can sit around and talking blame for each other. Taking the blame for each other, things happen. I'm sure Olivia will forgive you. Me, however... Well, I'll see if I can get myself lunch before it is too late. Looking back at the undulating flash mob at the center of the cafeteria, his prospects are grim, and he realizes it too. Or not, I'll have to call it a fast. There's a healthy from what I read. As aggravated as can be, there's at least something to Ben's positive outlook. He's at least doing a good job of hiding a negative feeling, whereas I felt my face sagging more and more with each self-deflagellating thought. What a way to put it. Flagellating. Ben bids me farewell and I return the nod. Damien passes by him, finally arriving at 8 minutes to the bell. Hey, Ben! Bye, Ben! So what is the Silco Press doing here? And on that note, where's Olivia? A reflexive frown I gives him all the answers he needs, though he looks a bit disappointed. Doesn't stop him from digging into the towering lunch tray of anomalous origin. No food, no mood, no gator girl. I just said to head to class early. I wave Liz and Damien goodbye as I go, but the latter is already engaged in an intense conversation with the former, hardly noticing me. On my way to photography, I round the corner to see Olivia sulking in a random hall. She's fidgeting with her hands, and I weigh if I should continue towards her or make an offshoot to let sleeping dogs lie. It's not my business. I mean, I said something kind of mean, but we've had our spats before, and it doesn't need airing. If the air needs around someone needs clearing, clear it yourself. Damn you, imaginary Attica! How much longer is this conversation? Oh, we're going here. We'll cut it here for now.